Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Julie Nguyen. Welcome to the Julie and Milo show. My dear friend Milo. Milo, could you please say hello?
Hey everybody, how you doing? Milo from Nashville.
Milo, good to see you, Milo. Today is February 8th, 2021, and I'm so excited to start the Julie and Milo show, Milo. It's crazy. We have this guest that it took us a while to tie him down, and there are so many things that are heating up in OnPassive, and I can't wait to come to have a conversation with our guest. So Milo, I'm not going to say any further things. I'd like you to introduce our guest because we have a lot of things to learn about this guy.
We do, Julie, and it's so good to have this founder with us. And we're all after last night's webinar. Oh man, it's like wow. But let me bring, with no further ado, this guy out, Peter Rogers. Come on out, Peter. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank
Peter,
you for
welcome to the show.
Okay, well, thanks for inviting me. So, pleased to be here and share my story, and let's go.
All right. Well, hey, let's get started. I'll tell you what, Peter, what we like to do is we get these incredible founders on the show, and we get to learn a little bit more like them. So me and Julie say we're like the most blessed people in the world because we get to do that. I mean, for us to sit down with Peter Rogers and talk to him, that's big stuff. You know, you've been around for a long time. But let's start at the beginning, Peter. Where were you born? Your mom and dad, your siblings that you have, and then on to your family now and your children, grandchildren.
Okay, yeah. I'm obviously from the UK. I was born in Worcestershire. I lived in a little village called Ombersley outside Worcestershire. I actually live now outside the Worcestershire into the Hereford area. So everybody's heard about Hereford beef and things like that. That's where I'm from. And anyway, I've got two brothers, brother Paul and Stephen. And as I said, we were brought up as a nice family unit in Ombersley. And I went to school in Droitwich, which is just not far away from Ombersley. And that's where I come from.
Awesome. And your family now?
Yeah, sorry. My family, I'm happily married. I have a daughter who's 23. And believe it or not, I've got a little boy now who is 5. And I've got Lois Jade. She's actually just made me a granddad. She's obviously got a boyfriend and married a baby, and made me a granddad this not long back, only about 4 or 5 weeks ago. And and I've got a little boy with me with my wife, and he's 5. So yeah.
Cool.
So Peter, I have a few times get to see you on the webinar. You seem to be a very quiet person, but on your bio, it's very interesting. You've done a lot of great things, and you've done it for a while. So I'd like you to go into details and talk to us about interesting things that you've done.
Okay. Well, as I said, I left school when I was 16. I became a butcher. I actually worked in the local village butcher shop. There was an advert that was put in the local paper that they were looking for a butcher, and my mother actually applied for the job for me. She rang them up and said, "Would you be willing to take on a school lad from school?" And and they said, "Well, yeah, we will take him on as a Saturday boy." And I went down there, and I spent 15 years there, and I learned everything from serving in the shop. I was a shop cutter. I've even done the slaughtering side because they had their own abattoir as well. So I've learned all aspects of the butchery and all that. And then obviously, as I moved on, I got sort of interested in martial arts. I mean, I was, when I was at school, I suppose I was bullied a bit, and I've always had an interest in martial arts. And when I was about 19, I was sort of looking around, and I saw an advert being advertised for a local club in Worcester, wanting to recruit new students, I suppose. And I went along to this like a little webinar or seminar it was, and I was so taken back by it, I joined up, and and many years later, I'm a fourth dan instructor, and I've ran my own club for 10 years. I had my own club. I've been in different organisations over the period of time, and I've won many trophies, been in many tournaments, and I can. I don't know if you can see that, but I can.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Wow.
See 'em up
That's just
top.
a few of them there, and obviously the certificates are on the wall and different things that I've done. I'm a fully
Wow.
qualified instructor in Taekwondo, but to be fair, um, I'm actually a businessman as well now, and when I left school and got obviously learned the trade in the meat trade. I'm jumping back here a little bit, but I um, I worked there for about, I think it was about 11 years. I worked at the butcher shop, and then I went out and bought my own butchers because I was sort of I was a bit of an entrepreneur. I've always sort of wanted to do something for myself, and so I bought a butcher shop, and I ran that one for 10 years. Then I sold that one up, and then I bought another one, which was in a better position, and I ran that for many years. And in fact, I ran it until a few years back, and I decided at that time that I was trying to look for, well, where my butcher shop was at that time. It was in an area where it's quite built up, but there wasn't many facilities for shops, so like 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 a little supermarket, which we call a convenience store. And where I live now, where I've got this convenience store, I'm jumping the gun a bit, but there's pockets of villages around where I live, and there's really nowhere where there was a convenience store that was available handy at the time. And I decided then that I saw a opportunity that came up where a premises was available, and I built a convenience store there, and I've been running it there for for the last 4 years. And then going back to my taekwondo, I had to give the taekwondo a bit of a back seat, because obviously starting this new business up, which I did 4 years ago. So that's basically what's really sort of happened. Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
That's awesome. I mean, what a story you got, and I guess if you and Red have a party over in the UK, will you invite us?
Oh, definitely.
Because I get, I'm listening to you tell this story, and I'm saying, oh my God, he can cut the meat, and we'll get the best cuts of meat, and Red can cook the meat, man. It doesn't
Well,
get any better than that, right?
Red actually owned the pub. This is where I met Red.
Okay.
When I left when I first bought my first butcher shop in a small village, and I met Red because he actually owned the pub in that village, and I had the butcher
Wow.
shop there. So that's how we got to meet. I mean, I've been around a while, and Red came in and obviously took the pub on, and he had a very good business. He was a good cook, as we all know, and that's how I sort of known Red from many years ago from then. And we've always sort of spoke to each other really on the internet, and and that's why we work together now, I suppose, because we've known each other for such a long time.
That's awesome. He's a
Wow.
great chef. I mean, when he told us, on the show, he said he had cooked for the Queen. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
geez.
yeah.
I'm not talking to a normal, just your everyday cook here. We're talking about a chef, a great chef.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, he's
Absolutely.
very talented, very talented, and he's always been the same. I've known him even with the pub. When he had the pub, he made a fantastic go of it. And when he decided to leave the pub, the village was pretty upset, really. They didn't want him to go, but
Yeah,
people move on, don't they? So like I moved on from there as well myself. So.
absolutely. You guys do a
Wow.
wonderful job as a team. So, Julie, over to you.
Yeah. I was gonna say that, Milo. You took my words, but then you, you and Red is such a beautiful pair. And I wanted to say this. It is really a Peter Rogers show, but since you and Red are doing so beautifully together, I wanted to say thank you to you and to Red for everything that you do. I wanted to go into the topic that three of us are actually connecting through there. And today it's 500,000 people are connecting in the company that's called OnPassive, and many things are heating up here in OnPassive, especially. Yes, Milo said it last night webinar. So we're getting so close. So now my question to you, Peter, is when did you join OnPassive, and why did you join OnPassive, and how has it been so far for you?
Well, I joined OnPassive back in October 18. I mean, there is a bit of a story to it, because at the time when I was introduced to OnPassive, I was introduced by Red. Red had already been introduced by Derek Ventnor, as we were speaking earlier on. And I've said this many times with my story. Red rang me up the one day. He said, Pete, he said, I've got a business opportunity we need to look at. It's $97, you know, pay your fee and join up. And that's what I basically did. I mean, he sent me a webinar of one of Ash Mafara's, who's the CEO of OnPassive. At the time, there was only 2 videos that Ash had done. Well, I think there was 2. It might have only been 1 actually, but Red introduced me, gave me the video, and I didn't even look at the video. I just paid me $97 across, because you know, I had faith in Red. I didn't really know what I was looking at, you know. And you know, it was only about probably a week later, Red said, "Oh, there's a webinar by Ash Mafara. It's going to explain the OnPassive business, and you know, here's a link. Let's go along." And we went along, and I was taken back by what Ash had said. As we all know, Ash, you know, in those days, you know, he would be talking about one thing, and then he'd be jumping onto something else straight away. So he was trying to catch up, trying to work out what he was saying. But the passion he had, what he was trying to explain, and what he was trying to share with us as founders was, well, it was just the passion. It just, you know, it was just this guy had got something he wanted to share. And, you know, and if you follow people who've got that passion, you can't go wrong. That's me personally. You know, if you've got somebody who's got a lot of faith and actually believes in something, what they're trying to do, you know, the job's half done. If you've got belief in what you're trying to do, the job is done. And as I said with Ash, you know, he shared the opportunity with us. In those days, he was talking about Go Founders. Go Founders didn't even have a back office. It was it was all done on a spreadsheet. And I can remember when we paid our fees, you had to pay your fee, and then you had to email Ash, tell him you paid your fee, and give him, if you pay by Bitcoin, you had to send the, you know, the link, the ID for the Bitcoin payment, and that's how we started. And Ash in those days said, "Look, I'm going to develop a back office, the Go Founders back office, and what we've got today." We, you know, when we got involved, we had nothing like that at all. We had nothing. All we had was 2 videos of Ash explaining his story. We didn't have a founders back office. And anyway, he said over a period of time, and it wasn't long afterwards, to be fair, it was only probably a few months down the road after that. You know, that we'd have a back office. You'd have links so you could share it if you wanted to share it with people. As we know, OnPassive, it's a business, it's a self-building business. You don't have to share it if you don't want to. But Ash was said, if you want to share it, there's going to be links with videos and all that. And everything he said materialized over a period of time. Everything he said, you know, and I followed him because everything he told us came to pass.
Yes.
And you know, and that's where we are today. You know, people today who are joining OnPassive, in a way, it's a done deal for them. You know, the office is done, the back office for Go Founders all done. And going back to what he was talking about, Go Founders, OnPassive was the business that he was talking about that actually was going to develop. The Go Founders is the founding position for the OnPassive. And as I said, in those days, although he was talking about his passion, he didn't even have a name for OnPassive. Don't know if I'm rabbiting on too much here, but
No,
you
it's
know,
good.
but I mean, as I said, he didn't even have a name for OnPassive. It was, he was sort of sharing what he wanted to do without really having a name. And as I said, now everything's materialised of what he said. We had this fantastic webinar last night, as everybody's talking about now, and with Ash, and we're all in a good place. And but as I said, Red shared the opportunity with me, and I said to Red, "Well, if we're going to do this," Red agreed. We would do it, and we would build a team, and that's what we've done. We shared it with quite a lot of people, and that's where we are today.
Yeah, you've built an incredible team. I mean, you got some big hitters. You got the likes of Marty and Dan and Mike Ellis on your team. Just a great team that you guys have built, and you do so much for OnPassive. Your team does so much. OnPassive Nation, they were really the first ones out there that kind of were the leaders of the pack. That had the webinars and all that. And I think you guys have a webinar every day. And I think Marty's on there every day.
He does a live every day.
Yeah.
He actually is doing a live right now too.
Well, I mean, I suppose in a way I was very lucky with the team that we have put together with Marty DeGarmo, because Marty actually contacted me. I mean, me and Red had been involved in the business in OnPassive for about 18 months previous to when Marty, well, 12 months previous probably, to when Marty actually came on board. And Marty contacted me. We worked together on a previous idea, 18 months previous. We sort of kept in contact, and Marty just contacted me and he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Marty, you need to look at this." And I shared him the video, and we had a bit of a get together with Red, and shared a bit more information with him, and he was taken back by it. And of course, today is what we've got, with Marty DeGarmo. But we have got other leaders as well, and we've just been very. I suppose it's about sharing the opportunity, and you just don't know who you're going to share it with. You know what I mean? You're going to get somebody. You can share the opportunity, and they get involved, and they just explode with it. You know what I mean? And I suppose we, in some sense, we've found a few who are like that. We've helped them, we've guided them to that, and that's probably why we have got a good team today. So yeah, we work together well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it is. Me and Julie talk a lot of times about the orange. How you don't know who you bring in. But the truth of it is, and we like to say, that orange, and I heard it could have even been on one of your webinars, a guy named Romeo. I remember watching, and he put this up, and it never dawned on me how powerful this was. But do you know how many oranges can an orange create?
Well, it's unlimited, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unlimited. It's an infinite amount, because when you think about it, the orange has seeds, but those seeds don't create another orange. They create another tree.
A tree. That's
Yeah.
right.
And so this is the way OnPassive is. You tell someone about it, and it's not that you got one person in. You've got a tree in there now.
Yeah.
That is bringing all these other oranges in. And it's creating more seeds and more trees. And pretty soon, man, like you guys, you got an orange grove, a huge orange grove, that's growing.
Yeah.
And
I mean, all I can say is that, with people look at me and Red, I think, oh yes, we got a big team and blah blah blah. We have worked. Obviously, when we first saw this, we shared it and shared it and shared it. And that's what you really got to do. You just got to share it with people, and you will find that orange tree. you know,
Absolutely, you know,
you
and
know,
it's self-funding. So, you know, I like to say that OnPassive is changing the world one person at a time.
time.
It
Yeah,
started with Ash Mafaro and it goes to all of us. Now, one thing that's
that's right.
interesting is we talk to the founders, you know, most talk about, you know, when they first come in, you know, it's about how much money can you make or whatever, you know, how's it going to help you type thing. But now it seems that we're all moving towards Ash with his heart and stuff. And, you know, we realize that, hey, we're going to make money. It's self-funding. It is a done deal. I mean, the money's going to be there for you as far as abundant, I shouldn't say money, I should say abundant living. Your abundant living is going to be there. You know, it's going to take care of you. But now we dream about not what we've got, but what we can give away. What can we give to other people in humanity that we can reach down and we can pull someone up? I love this part of the giving part of OnPassive. Expand on that a little bit, your thoughts.
Well, I'll just sort of pedal back a little bit with that, because you know you're absolutely right. You know, everybody gets involved in any business because of the money. You know, they want to earn money out of it.
Right.
And we were the same. Me and Red, yeah, we'll do this because you know we can see we're going to make lots of apples.
Yeah, I like that.
And obviously, me and Red, you know, we are actually we're out to help people. You know, we've actually now in the UK we've got the UK and Ireland UK leadership team that we put together. Me and Red have put together, and we've got a lot of stuff going on in the background to help these guys to help build their businesses. And these guys are all the same with like us. You know, they're building teams. They want to help other people
Right.
as well, and that's you know, and like you said with the money, you know, I mean, only yesterday I was talking to Red. We've got a joint position. What we do when we're trying to help people, we sometimes buy a position in the team below them because it helps the team. You know, they can see, oh, we've got a new one in the team. So, you know, sometimes we do that. We just buy a position and we share the position. And we got a position in a good team that's growing quite well. And I said, and we were talking about being charitable. And I'll be honest, you know, I'm a charitable person. But I've never really gone. I'm not the sort of person that would go out and say, "Right, I'm going to give thousands of pounds out to
Right.
people."
Absolutely.
I wasn't like that. Because I suppose not being selfish, but like I said, you look after yourself. You look after yourself. You look after your family.
Absolutely.
You look after you know, and then you move on from that. Once you've got your take, then you feel that you want to help other people. And he's completely right, because you can only spend so much.
Absolutely.
You know, and we put this position in, and we were talking to Red, and Red was saying, well, what shall we do with this position? And I said, well, I'll tell you really what I want to do. And it's something that I wanted to do, being in the meat trade when I was a butcher. I wanted to do Christmas dinner for the homeless people in the Worcester and Herefordshire area, because like Red's obviously a chef, which is my way of thinking with being in the meat.
Yeah.
And my wife was the same as well. We've always said, well, wouldn't it be nice if we could supply the meat and do a Christmas dinner for the homeless then, you know, for the homeless of where we around the area where we live. That's something that's always sort of stuck with what I felt that I wanted to do, but never have got into doing it, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And then only last week I saw it was actually on, I think it was on one of our groups. Somebody had posted about these, and it was based in Germany. It was a company that was based in Germany. Were making these like a capsule where people could, and they put on the side of the streets, and they got like got eating in from solo. They got a solar panel on, and then you know, like the homeless people could go get one of these capsules for the night. They can open up, get inside. It sets off an alarm, so it lets the people that own the capsules know that somebody's come along. They go along and make sure they're okay. They want a cup of tea or whatever. And I thought, God, and I was saying to Red, that's what I would like to do.
Uh-huh.
And he agreed with me, and I said, what we could get these capsules, buy somewhere in the area, buy a field or whatever, buy these capsules. So you've got homeless people who could go there and have somewhere to sleep at night, you know, and try and help out like that. And that's what we've decided to do with that position. We're going to do it as a charitable thing. And it's funny because we were only talking about it yesterday.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do with that position, you know, and obviously try and help who we can. You know, you feel that when you could see the bigger picture, and you could see what this business is, the opportunity, what it's offering people, and what you can actually do with it. It's phenomenal, really. And
Absolutely. I think it gives us all that chance, you know, even though we might not have had it, because I've always said, you know, hey, you have to have something in the funnel to be able to give out on the other end. You have to take care of yourself first, you know. And I think we've all kind of struggled with that part because we've never had that abundance, you know, the abundance living, you know, whereas now we're coming into this thing where we got to get our mind and our hearts realizing that we are going to have this abundance now, and we can do whatever we want to with it. And there's nothing like giving, you know, like you said. And I mean, I did basically the same thing. I got spots under mine for, you know, cancer patients. I got spots for homeless. I got spots for disabled vets, you know, and my family, friends, you know, and I put these pots in thinking that when this thing starts, you know, multiplying, I'm going to take a spot. I'm going to not give them the money, but I'm going to take us and buy them a spot under that, so that then, you know, they can also, and try to teach them, hey, you know, when it becomes abundant for you, man, help someone else out. You know, it's a beautiful thing that OnPassive has going.
You've just, you know, that is what you've just said is, that's what, you know, when you look at the bigger picture and you start to realize, you know, this is going to change the world. OnPassive will change the world for the better. And charities and charitable, you know, they're really going to prosper from what we're going to do as founders. You know, there's no doubt about it.
And another amazing thing too, Peter and Milo too, is that every time when we talk to our founders, we found down that their plan, what they're going to do. And then everybody has a definite plan of saying, you know, I want to focusing on, you know, battle women. You know, I want to advocate that. I want to focus on helping with cancer. I want to focus on helping with homeless. I want to helping, you know, that all the founders actually have the definite plan of what they wanted to do. And it's such an amazing thing, because I think what happened is that we're looking at Ash Mufarad, and we see through his heart and we see through his vision, and he literally psychologically turning us into better giver.
Yeah.
Do you agree with me on that?
Oh, definitely. I mean, as I said, you know, and like Milo has just said, you know, you go through life and you try and you do your best for yourself and you do your best for your family. Trying to give out a lot of, you know, a lot of help to a lot of people. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people do. They're very charitable and they go out. But a lot of people, they get stuck. They can only visualize helping themselves. Right. And then that next hurdle is a big step. And once you start to realize that you can do it, then lots of gates open up and you can help a lot of people. And you know, I mean, as I said, that's the one we've read. I have got other ones that I've actually got that I'm going to be sharing with other people. But it's no good giving them money. You've got to well, you've got to give them money, obviously, to do what you want them to do. But it's no good giving an individual money. Yeah, well, I mean, what I'm trying to say is, you know, where we're all in a position where we want to give and share, but never been in that position to be able to do it. And I think now with, you know, and I'll put my hands up, you know, I'm not a selfish person. I do give, but I've not been able to give what I really want to give, because I've never had the ability to do that. And I think now with what we've all learned from what OnPassive is offering us, and what we've, and what we've seen and what's going to happen, I know that that's going to change for me. I know that what I want to do, obviously helping what I said earlier on about the homeless people, I mean, to me at that time was a pipe dream. I'd like to do it, but never got around to doing it. But now I can do it. I'm going to do it. And, Red said, I'm in for that. We'll do that together. So, and that's what we're going to do, and, I'm not trying to say it's difficult because I don't want people to think, oh yeah, he's a selfish guy, I'm not, I'm just saying how I was. I just knew that I couldn't do what I wanted to give to people. I just knew I couldn't. And if you got it in your mind you can't do it, you don't do it. But if you start to think you can do it, like we know we can now, we can do it, and that's what we're going to do.
Absolutely. That is so beautiful, what you just said. And I think a lot of us are into that position, where we couldn't do it before. You've got to have something in to have something come out, and now to think that, every day, our bucket of apples is going to get bigger,
Yeah.
and so it's cool. We can give out, and not have to worry, because as we give out, the cool thing about it is the more we give out, the more of them apples we give out, man, the more apples come back into us, But
well,
unfortunately,
we can only eat so many apples ourselves.
That's right. I like it.
So,
give some of them apples to someone else and bring them up to where you are.
It's like we were saying, you can you can give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and he'll eat for life. And that's what we've got to try and do with what we're trying to do, even with the charitable stuff. You've got to try and, you've got to teach them how to fish.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. We're about out of time. So
That's okay,
I want to thank you for being on this show, man. It was so fun having you on this show and you sharing your thoughts and to realize, man, me and you, we think a lot alike, and I just enjoyed talking to you, but we're kind of out of time. So I'm going to send it over to Julie. And Julie, yeah, that way.
The other way. Peter, thank you so much. I know you're a very busy guy, but I'm not going to let you go until I ask my last question, okay? You've been in OnPassive for a while. Milo has been for a while. I have been for a while. But we do have a few people that's like, oh, I don't know if I want to be in. They're not really understand the inside of OnPassive. Not only that, the people that actually on the inside of OnPassive, but not really have done anything to know what truly OnPassive is. To me, OnPassive is a gift to humanity and a gift that keep on giving. So I like to hear your word of wisdoms to these folks that kind of stand on the fence or not really care about what it is. Please share your thoughts with these folks.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people out there who are just sitting there watching. They're waiting to see what happens with OnPassive, and which is fine, which is great. I mean, everybody's got that they want to check things out, and but at the end of the day, this business is going to change your life. For the sake of it's £80 in UK money, but $97 obviously in dollars. It's a round of drinks, really. It's a round of drinks that you could go without, invest in your future. That's going to change your life forever, and not just your life, your friends, your families, whatever. This has been going on now. OnPassive has been going for 2.5, 3 years now. There's enough information out there to say this is real. This is a real business. It's registered now. We're in 212 countries around the globe. What more proof do you need? And just don't sit there now. Get yourself a founder's position. It's going to change your life. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Absolutely.
That is great. And I just went onto the site just to see if we've hit a 500,000. We're 15 away. So we're only 15 away. So almost a 500,000 in it.
Million people.
Yeah, it's
Well,
crazy, but go ahead.
all I can say is, with what Akshmafara said on his webinar last night, with the apples and I mean, it's just a great way of explaining it, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I just, people who are sitting there, to obviously see what we see, you've got to be a founder.
Yeah.
And, and it's just a round of drinks. Change your life, spend the money, change your life. And one thing I want to say as well, just because you're paying $97 across, like to me, I don't get anything from that. Milo doesn't get, or Julie. $97 is 100% spent on your future. We're just telling you and showing you and sharing and showing you the path and showing you the way. Don't think that because you're paying your $97 that we're going to get a commission. It doesn't work like that.
No.
Okay, this is for your benefit. Don't sit on the fence. Get it done. I can understand how people, they're not sure. They don't want to share it with their friends and their family because they're not sure about it. Don't want to get egg on their face and things like that. This is a real business,
Absolutely.
it's going to happen. You either get on board and let it and be part of it, or you just let the boat sail by.
Yep, absolutely.
The train leaves the station.
Yeah. So,
okay.
I know we're running out of time. I want to say, Peter, thank you so much for being here with us. Share your heart, your story, and your passion of OnPassive. I like to say this, everyone. If you watched a lot of our show up until this point, and you still haven't gotten the idea of OnPassive, I'd like you to close your eyes for about a minute and look at your life right now, today. There is something out there that is made just for you. Mr. Ashmore did offer that just for you. All you got to do is take the action. And if you close your eyes and if you see your life today and you're not really happy with it, then take the action. Get back with the person who shared this message with you, because when you take that action, your life will change forever. Yes, it has changed for Milo. It has changed for Peter, and it has changed for 500,000 people in the world. All you got to do is take the action. And the people that actually are founders and hasn't done anything, you have a key to the treasure that you're sitting on right now, the knowledge. Everybody is sharing that knowledge with you. All you got to do is put that key in that lock and unlock it. Because when you do that, you understand your knowledge about OnPassive, it will change your life forever. So folks, take the action. Just don't sit on it. Thank you so much for watching the Julie and Milo show. Thank you, Peter, for being here with us. Guys, go out there, take the action, spread the love, spread the kindness, spread the wisdom. Thank you so much for watching. Good night from Newport Beach, California.
And thank you for inviting me. And goodbye from the UK.
Good night from Nashville.